On that. One word. The future places.
This year we're particularly interested in consolidating projects that we've started in previous years. So it's really about longevity, and it's also about recognizing that we're beginning to have a heritage that needs to be taken care of.
Paying attention to cultivating these projects that were galvanized or even created by past Future Places festivals. And I think that it's been wonderful just looking at projects like with the Type the Future and continuing those projects and finding out just what can they do in the future, how can they continue to bring people together.
So the various projects that we've initiated, some of them last year, some of them we've been working together since the very first edition of the festival. They're still with us, talking about working with the musicians from the shopping mall Stop. I'm talking about the Families Project. I'm talking about the 3D Typography Project.
A ideia do Type the Future surge principalmente como a possibilidade de abrir um fórum às pessoas no espaço público, possibilitar a escrita e a materialização de ideias para o futuro das pessoas que convivem e que vivem a cidade. E no primeiro ano optamos por construir um grande futuro, um futuro gigante, a partir do qual as pessoas pudessem desconstruir e construir o seu próprio futuro, ou as suas ideias para o futuro. Este ano o projeto teve mais tempo de vida, durou 2 dias, esteve na Praça dos Poveiros, já como o ano passado, e alargou-se em termos de participação das pessoas, porque não só como o Heitor disse, a ideia será dar continuidade a este projeto, porque ele tem corpo para isso, mas também por causa da sua pertinência e da sua importância nos tempos que correm e na possibilidade de permitir às pessoas fazerem parte deste fórum aberto e de alterarem elas próprias a sua realidade com estas construções.
We did one of the workshops here, and we had some activities in the workshops. One of them was to produce an exhibition. We added the idea to complete the thing was that we have some families from last year, so it would be a nice idea to get some other people to join these families, to be adopted or to marry those families, so extend the families, make them grow. So we set, a mini photography set, and we invited everybody here to have their photograph taken and then choose the family from the previous year that they prefer to belong to. That produced an exhibition which is composed of the photographs from the performance in Plaza dos Poveiros, from the new members of the families that we took here, and contributions from the visitors and the participants of the workshop to add more material to families, all photographs from their family albums. They even were invited to write whatever comments they wanted, change the photographs, so the exhibition would be like a proactive activity, not the typical exhibition that you're only invited to see and you are passive, but you are an active person.
I should be more precise. I would walk over and say, yo, shut up.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
O Portugal Portfólio começa por ser um exercício académico, por assim dizer, lançado pelo professor Heitor Alvelos na cadeira de História e Teoria da Imagem. E o desafio era muito simples. Os alunos eram convidados a apresentar uma imagem de Portugal e a explicar o seu caráter simbólico. Houve imensas participações dos colegas da turma e criou-se um primeiro site, uma primeira abordagem a este site, a esta ideia de Portugal Portfólio. E para este festival foi lançada a versão 2.0 do Portugal Portfólio. Neste caso concreto, uma imagem para o Porto, onde o desafio era lançar aos participantes esta ideia de saírem à rua, de derivarem pelo Porto, à procura daquela imagem que representaria ou seria dotada de um caráter profundamente simbólico relativo ao Porto. Ou seja, que no final olhássemos todos para esta imagem, pelo conjunto de imagens ou para as contribuições e disséssemos: o Porto é isto, o Porto também é isto.
Take it. Keep it. Take it. Keep it. Keep it. Yes. And take it.
Porque haver uma rádio dentro do Future Places, porque nós podemos definir, se calhar a melhor maneira é definir a rádio como um espaço e definindo esse espaço é um espaço onde nós como cidadãos podemos atuar. No entanto, entrou um fator novo nesta equação, que se chama a internet, e que nos veio trazer uma série de tecnologias que nos permitem cada vez mais entrar dentro deste espaço e usar este espaço para comunicar com outras pessoas, estabelecer ligações e fazer coisas acontecer.
O que nós estamos a pretender aqui é que as pessoas, a partir da reflexão sobre a cadeira, proponham histórias de cadeiras. Observamos e concluímos imediatamente que a cadeira é um objeto universal, mas se é um objeto universal, nós queremos inverter um pouco esta ordem de fatores e propô-la também como um universo de histórias. E daí surge então o Stories of Chairs. Podemos, por exemplo, pensar em desenhos de cadeiras, fotos de cadeiras, histórias de cadeiras, músicas, poemas, portanto, o que for a nossa forma preferida de nos expressarmos, de provarmos aquilo que é a nossa criatividade. Ou proponho-vos que criem cadeiras que são reais, que são imaginadas, cadeiras que são possíveis ou até cadeiras que são impossíveis.
We've been developing these projects with various institutions, individuals, contexts, city halls, businesses, creative people. So we decided that this was the right time to make certain of these projects permanent, go even further beyond the festival dates. So in that sense, Future Places doesn't really end today, Saturday. It actually begins, because from now onwards we have 6 websites that we've just launched, which have their own life, and they all ask for citizen participation and creativity.
Well, today some musicians who volunteered to play a piece that I sort of made on the spot for them will be playing in a room upstairs, and we will broadcast it on 2 radio frequencies that will then be picked up by automobiles who will be driving into the garage downstairs where the audience and myself with a mixing table will be. and we will work with the interference of the acoustics in the garage with the music which is being played through the speakers that was actually generated in the room upstairs by the volunteer musicians. And so my idea was to take the musicians' performance and have it be on the other side of a radio channel before it reaches the audience, instead of just going through the cables in the PA and through the big speakers in the same room where the musicians are. Because it's an experimental music festival, I have tried to conceive of something I haven't seen done. I definitely have never done anything like this myself, so it's definitely an experiment. Well, yeah, everything can be made noise with, there's no doubt about it. It's up to the humans to decide what music is and what isn't. Otherwise it's only sound. But music is organized sound, and so you don't need musical instruments to make music, you just need a concept of organization. That's the human element in it.
This year we have merging faces. Our posters, our videos, they're all about people's faces merging into something which is like a collective identity. This is a symbol for this idea that digital media is affording us the opportunity to share and to become a bit more permeable, both in terms of our creative processes, in terms of coexistence in our daily routines, and also as people becoming more open and more flexible. So that's the secret behind this year's message.
The second major theme is about individual agency and the power that people have over digital media, especially conversely with institutions like, let's see, the Motion Picture Association in the US, or the US government, the Swedish government, all of these different organizations, and how they will try to exert power over individual use of digital media.
One of the great things about the power of new technology is such that with media and with cultural creation, instead of in the past where you had one major creator broadcasting to many people, so for example with radio or with TV, the general way that culture was produced was in this one-to-many scenario that wasn't democratized and that didn't give anyone the opportunity to create their work and post it online.
Everyone is equal in this file sharing system. So when you put your movie up, you're one file. And when the Harry Potter movie is put up, it's also just one file. It's not 10 files that you have to download or whatever. It's not bigger, it's not smaller, it's different files. So everyone is competing on the same basis and everyone gets the same attention. It's up to the people that want to decide, what they want to download, what they want to view. So instead of being a game of where the people with the most amount of money can afford getting attention, and the people without it don't get attention, it's an equal playing field. Pirate Bay and other places has facilitated technology for this, but people have always wanted to do it, and that's why we're doing it. It's not because the technology came to existence. It's because we made the technology because we had a need to redistribute or distribute in different ways than we did before. So we have new efficient tools to do things, and that changes the concept of culture. It changes what culture can be and what it should be, and so on, which is very interesting.
Eu acho que nós temos o único programa de televisão que foi feito inteiramente com imagens tiradas da internet. Desde os fundos, tudo foi tirado de sites, desde o Flickr, coisas desse género.
E em que medida é que nós nos podemos enquadrar na pirateação, na pirataria? Porquê? Porque nós roubamos este boneco não é nosso. Este boneco é do Jorge Lucas, é da Caravana da Coragem, se não me engano, corrija-me, Pombeiro. Quando surgiu o convite de darmos o salto para a televisão, disseram-nos: ok, ou vocês mudam a cara do boneco, ou não há programa para ninguém. E pronto, e nós mudamos a cara do boneco por uma questão precisamente de direitos autorais.
Eu era o único que não queria mudar a cabeça, eu queria arriscar. Chegámos a consultar uns advogados, oficiosamente, sobre direitos autorais e havia ali alguma margem de manobra para usar o Ewok como paródia, não é?
O programa do Aleixo tinha uma péssima audiência na televisão, mas mal acabava de dar na televisão e uma hora, uma coisa assim, e já estava disponível no YouTube. E foi quando os nossos conteúdos, que eram feitos com imagem na internet, passaram a ser publicados de uma forma ilegal na internet.
Existe uma passagem na Bíblia que diz: de graça recebeste, de graça dai. Nós, já que roubámos estas coisas todas, ao menos o que devemos fazer é dar de borla.
Most people don't know that since the 1980s in the US, and I believe earlier in Europe, as soon as you create a work, you automatically have a copyright on it. So people will say, oh, I didn't copyright that. And actually you did, because you had no choice in the matter. You automatically did so.
It's not to the benefit of the creator to extend, copyrights from 70 years after his death till 95 years after his death. It's obvious because this person is dead. He has no benefit of it. And his kids are probably also dead after this while. So there's no benefit to them. So then you see who benefits from this. And of course, it's corporations. And we should not allow corporations to decide and dictate over things that are so important to society as culture.
There's a growing movement in which people believe in the copying culture. And it goes counter to this traditional notion of copyright that has been supported in many cases by corporate industries and by companies that make profit off of works, often actually not giving much back to the artist at all. So ideal future is to find a different way, a way in which people can copy and yet there can still be a means of creators making a living.
Fundraising has always been a big question, but it's nothing new. So this is something everyone who created culture in every time has always discussed: funding of the culture. The entertainment industry demands funding. Otherwise, you've had artists and writers and everyone who created something always tried finding a way that didn't demand it. And that's a big difference. So I think that we should not focus on new legislation that makes it harder for people to copy or limits people in the way they can use information or set some sort of standard for who can distribute or whatever. That's not going to be a good topic for how to actually fund new culture. Rather, we should find new technology that will help us fund new creativity. And I'm making one, which is Flatter, which I think can work for some sort of creativity. It will not work for big movies, and it will not work for the people that already make a lot of money from in the industries.
On the internet, you can create or take part of content. When you create, there's not really a good way to get money for the content. And when you find something you like, there's no good way to show love for it. This problem is universal. For bloggers and their readers, musicians and their listeners, photographers, film creators, programmers, and so on. So we created Flatter to solve this. This is how it works. Every month, the Flatter user pays a small fee. Let's compare it with birthday cake. When you have a cake, you want to give slices to the people you like. Flatter helps you do that. If you've created something, you can add a Flatter button to your content. Or if you find something you like, and there's a Flatter button besides the content, you click it. Each button is a counter showing how many people are willing to give cake for the content. At the end of the month, your cake is sliced in as many pieces as you clicked Flatter buttons. Each slice is then given to the correct content creator. If you click 10 buttons, the 10 creators will get a 10th of the cake each. If you click 100 buttons, the 100 creators will get 100th of the cake. The slices might be small, but everyone's slices will all add up. As a creator, you will get money you've never got before. As a consumer, you can help creators out with just a small click.
And I think the really important thing is to, right now, fund those projects about how to fund things. Because we're missing that, because that's not part of our discussions. It's always, is it right or wrong to do this? And how could we stop it, or how could we make sure that it's not stopped? We're only focused on very binary decisions instead of trying to find ways to ignore that discussion and kind of go to the more fruitful one. So I'm really interested in what happens with culture, because we have free distribution, and not only free as in no costs, but also free as in no one decides anymore. Because usually before we had people that funded culture said that, you know, usually you would need some sort of money to do things, but with the computer, if you had the computer, you can do a lot of things that you couldn't before, and you have the free distribution with no cost. So you don't need people deciding what is good enough to get funded anymore, and that changes so many things. And in the end, this will be kind of a new cultural thing for us.
I think we've all understood by now that the real tangible problems are still in the world that we inhabit, and what digital media and new media should do is actually help us find solutions for a better life, a better daily life, a better social fabric, a better cultural fabric. I think that's the message essentially.
I should be more precise. I would walk over and say, yo, shut up.